Hey everybody, it's Nick. I got a tutorial for you today that is about creating an environment that we're going to place on the floor, and it's going to be contained in a cube. And this is just basically a simple script that tracks what's on the floor and instantiates some geometry. And in practice, it's going to look something like this. And this is just my floor on a sunny day. You can see that the script begins by kind of tracing, it tells us that there's a plane on the floor, and then you tap it, and now it has placed that geometry inside the scene. And you can see that we're in a box, and there's like a pedestal with a teapot on it at about, like regular height. And then you can see you don't have people in your scenes. Oh, and then there's like a ball kind of on the ceiling just to show what the limits of that are. But that more or less maps to the space. It's about a 9 foot by 9 foot, or should I say maybe 3 meter by 3 meter box. Of course, people kind of ruin the illusion when they're walking through it, but that's kind of how it goes. So again, what I did was I just made a simple mesh, just a box, and yeah, to kind of show that. And I used like the type in entry. I did 3 by 3 by 3. I placed it at 0, 0, 0. Sorry, I mean 3 by 3 by 3, placing it at 0, 0 on the XYZ. And then within there, I made a couple of other kind of objects. I just made like a pyramid. I made this kind of pedestal. And what I did that was important though with the box because I kind of wanted it to be like a room. Okay, was I did add a normal modifier and then I applied flip normals, and that's very important. Okay. The other things that I did was that I started off by making a basic kind of material. So you just find, any kind of Studio Max material that you might start with. Oh, and I also, when I go into the material editor, I always go to the compact like editor. I find that easier to use. So you can open up the material editor by pressing M, and then you can just kind of find, you can kind of scroll up and down if you don't have a blank material. But I take a material, any material, and then I click on this button here, and I change it from the physical renderer to the standard scanline material. I'm using Studio Max 2018. If you're in a newer version, you probably would go to the Arnold standard renderer. Basically, standard. Standard is just a dumb kind of colored material. That's all you need. You don't, if you're not gonna do a lot, even if you're doing stuff with textures, I would go ahead and use a standard material for now. It's just so much easier to work with. So double click standard. It's gonna come in as a kind of a gray sphere. Right away, go ahead and name that something, and you just for now it calls my material. And you can easily change a color just by clicking on the diffuse swatch. You make it, I got a watery, and then I made it change the opacity, something like 30, and I get like a color. And that may be all you need for things. And then if you want to make more materials, what I would do is just go ahead and drag it and copy it over, and then rename it to something. Make sure you name them something good. Don't name them dumb things like I named them, but name them what they are. Like here I have, the pyramid, the water, not that one. That's not a real material. The teapot and the ball. And you can play with the settings and stuff. But anyway, you start there, and then you can go back and change the settings to something else. Make that color what you want it to. You could also, yeah, there's lots of different ways you do it. But basically, like what I would recommend is go ahead and make those materials. And then you can go ahead and if you click on the swatch on the object, you can apply that material. Okay. Uh, you may run into an error message when you export. If it says like, oh, can't use this type, or something like that. All you got to do is take that primitive object and either add an editable mesh modifier to it, or just right click and then just say convert to mesh, and that'll take care of it. Sometimes the FBX exporter doesn't like those things. So for instance, like my teapot also didn't like that very well. You're gonna go ahead and export all those things as an FBX. Make sure that when you let me go ahead and make sure turn all this back on again. Unhide all. Select everything. Go back to export selected. I'll just throw this in here. So like my box demo. Make sure that you check the embedded media box. That's gonna transfer all the material settings you have. If you have textures, it's very critical. And what I'm doing in the scene, I'm giving you guys these files, but basically the script that we're interested in is called floor placement controller, and that's what does what we just looked at. Starting with a blank scene. Again, I'm going to assume that you've got everything set up for your development environment. You've gone through Package Manager and installed all the augmented reality packages you need to. If you've got nothing in your scene at all, I'd go ahead and start with the main camera and delete it. And then you're going to go into AR Session Origin. Right click again. You're going to want an AR Session. Okay. And the AR Session Origin has the camera built in. And the AR Session is what controls some of the scripts that you're going to be using. And so what you're going to do is you're not going to really have to worry about putting anything on the stage because we're going to do it with code. So we're going to go in and go to the prefabs folder that you should have. And I've already got this kind of in there. And if you've seen some of my other videos, you kind of know how this works. But basically, we're going to take the model that we created. Let's see here. Yeah, somewhere. Oh, right. In this case, it'd just be Aqua Test. And you drag that into your prefabs folder, and then go ahead and make sure that you extract the materials. And then if you need to, you can go back to your materials folder and then just place those materials like back on the objects if you need those. Okay. And that should work. And one other thing I forgot to mention is that a lot of times if you look at what's happening in Unity, you look at the camera. The camera is actually looking basically what you might call off to the left. And so what you might have to do before you export everything is to go ahead and select everything and transform it. Is basically like rotate everything, 90 degrees into Z. Sorry, negative 90. If that directionality like really matters to where things are. Um, just be careful about that. The other thing you can do too is actually group everything together, and then if you rotate it, um, yeah, negative 90. Yeah, I guess it kind of gives you the same effect. And then you can ungroup everything again. That helps if you have a lot of objects and they have different pivots. But just be mindful of that. If things aren't rotated the way you want them to be when you import them, you probably have to do a little bit of rotation inside of Studio Max. That if you're doing horizontal placement, that's what you're going to do. Okay, vertical placement's a little bit different. You'll see that in another video, but um, just watch that coordinate space if that bothers you. Okay, because again, this is actually looking at this thing in this direction. Okay, might be a little bit different for them than what you expect. Okay, so you've got all this in here. You've got your prefab built, that you brought in from the FBX. You extracted the materials. You remapped them if you need to. And again, you can. I'll put a link to that video in the inside the comments if you need help importing stuff from Max. But that should be pretty self-explanatory. These are just simple because they're just color, and maybe transparency. There's nothing to do with the texture mapping itself. Okay, you don't have to worry about any other settings for now. I will, as long as you paid attention to the scale here, and you model things in meters. And I'll go back, and if you weren't working in meters or you need to, go to unit setup and just change that to metric meters. Okay, and that'll make things like work pretty well. And then just have to make sure that when you're in your settings under the model, that you have convert units checked. It still thinks that you're not in meters. I've just found that this works, so go ahead and keep that checked. Okay, so once you got all that in there, we'll go to the scripts folder, and I've got this script called floor place. And I'm gonna go and open it up in Visual Studio. I'm just gonna take a second here. All right, and the way that this works in Visual Studio, I won't go through like a ton of this here. You've got all your dependencies set up. We're using the Raycast Manager and the Plane Manager, and all this is kind of like is basically built into the script that I'm going to provide. We have an object that's called object to spawn. We're going to be looking for a touch position on the screen. That touch position is going to use the plane that's generated by the plane manager and the raycast manager. The system is set up to look for horizontal planes. We're going to look for a touch, and then we're going to cast a ray into that plane, and that will return what's called a pose. And a pose uses the plane that's found, and it can apply that transform to an object that we've created. This bit of code here actually turns off the plane manager, so you won't see that gray kind of blob anymore. Like once we've identified a pose and we're going to place an object in the scene, we're going to turn off the plane manager. And then this is the magic kind of code here. So we have an object that we created, that we made space for, that's called spawn new. And that's all the way up here. So this is the game object spawn new. Okay. And we're going to say, okay, instantiate, which means like basically take the file that we have in the prefab and spawn it, okay, at the position that we touched and at the rotation that we touched. And that's it. So again, all this code here is just set up so that it's looking for, it's using the camera on your phone to find a plane. And then when you touch the screen, it's gonna shoot a ray towards it, and then where it intersects that plane, it's going to spawn our object. Okay, and so all that is basically built in. You don't have to really worry about any of that stuff. Don't worry about the warning messages in my Unity install. It's just my computer. So the way that works though is you go into session origin. We're gonna drag this floor place script into there, and you can see it automatically puts in a raycast manager, puts in this floor placement controller, and then it has a blank that's called object to spawn. That's already in the script. So we're going to go into the prefabs and then take our, what I call aqua test, and just going to drag that into object to spawn. Okay. And again, what this is going to do is we are going to look at the plane that we find in the camera, and we're going to use that to place our object. And there's one setting that I just want to make sure that we're looking at here. Oh shoot, one thing I noticed we're missing is the plane manager. That's what we're looking for. So if you just add component and start typing in, AR plane, get in the AR plane manager, and don't worry about yeah. So in the plane prefab, I've got this like included for you. You've got the AR plane visualizer that's already in the prefabs folder, and you pretty much just go back here and then drag this in for the plane prefab. That's already like pre-built. That's just what actually shows the floor. Basically, there's a simple material that's like transparent. There's a visualizer, all that stuff. So that you don't have to worry about. And then I'm going to go into the go back to the session, and then the detection mode. Here we're going to actually just start. First it says everything. We're going to say nothing, and then we're going to say horizontal, and then it's going to force it to look for the horizontal planes only. And you'll find that horizontal detection is much faster than vertical, especially if you have both of them turned on. So just if you're going to just spawn things on the floor, just stick with this setup like the way that it is. That's going to make things. Okay, and then the last thing you want to make sure you have, which you should, is if you have the AR camera, should have a tracked pose driver. That's actually what uses that tracks what the camera sees and tells the computer like where you're moving, and you don't need to change any of these settings. All that stuff should be basically fine. Okay, so that's how this all works. What I'm going to give you in the code is basically all this pre-built, and then all you need to do is basically from the session origin, just make sure that you've got this set to horizontal. Make sure that that's in there, and then just go ahead and drag your object to spawn inside the placement controller. You can talk more later about, if you have more objects that are, but basically like, this actually contains multiple objects, right? You have box, pyramid, all this stuff that's in there, and then all the materials that are mapped to it. In terms of animations and stuff like that, that gets a little bit more complicated. But we can kind of cross that bridge when we get there. But that's how this works. and that's how you'll get the effect that I showed. So just again to look at what happens here. So you point the camera at the floor, it looks at the camera, it does the plane detection. When I tap it, it uses that plane that I've detected to spawn like what's on it. And you'll notice the rotation's a little bit off. That could be something that you could change by actually rotating the model, or even some other changes in the code. But that basically gets it inside the space, and you can see what the effect of that box being inside out is also. That you actually do read it as being inside of the box, depending on what kind of view you have. Okay.